Hey everybody, so excited to be here. Thank you so much for being a part of this, and thank you to our gracious hosts for putting on this wonderful seminar. So, my name is Rihanna M. Hill. Hello, I am the founder of Pancake Digital Solutions, and today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about Facebook advertising, especially in regards to funnels. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on in. I promise this won't be a death by PowerPoint, but it definitely helps to have some visualizations. Alrighty. So here we are, Facebook ads as a funnel. This presentation is going to help you with how to create a successful Facebook ad strategy using the funnel as a consideration through Facebook ads as a funnel. So how are Facebook ads a funnel? Well, in a lot of cases, this is the first funnel for your business. Whether you have a website that sells something, you have products in your store that you're selling, or you are getting new leads for your service industry to talk to people, a lot of times, the first time people are hearing about you is through your digital marketing. And Facebook ads can really serve as that first funnel for you to go to get audience members who've never heard of you to having some paying clients. But first and foremost, or I guess secondly now, who am I? Who is Rihanna M. Hill? And why am I giving you this presentation today? Well, my career in digital marketing started back in 2009 when I was first looking for jobs, went door to door with a resume, and after watching the third Pizza Hut manager throw my resume straight in the trash, I realized that I wouldn't be getting a job that year, as I think a lot of people struggled with in 2008, 2009, which is how I discovered the wonderful world of freelancing and website building, starting with Dreamweaver, a little throwback for some of y'all there. Very similarly, in 2014, I went to school to be a designer, ended up getting an internship, and that design internship became building the social media for the athletic department. And finally in 2017, again, trying to get a job working in design and working for magazines, and ended up getting a job doing social media. So it's kind of funny, you know, you make plans and life happens, but that is how I got into be in this industry. I've done social media marketing for business since 2014 and been doing Facebook ads since late 2014, early 2015, around that same time range. So been here for a while, and then some other shenaniganry about me, but that's enough about me. Let's review really quickly what a funnel is. I know we'll be going over a lot of this in the seminar today and tomorrow, the next week really, but just really quickly, what is a funnel? These here basics as far as the definition that I'm going to use and how this fits into the Facebook ads. So first and foremost is the top of the funnel. This is the blue where your cold audience is. This is people who have never heard of you. They don't know your brand name. They don't know what product you sell. They're completely cold to understanding what you do. They don't know who you are. So the top of funnel is about reaching that cold audience to help warm them up and see what your brand name is, what your product is. The next step is that middle of funnel, and that's where the warm audience is at. This is, as you can see, fewer people, hence creating that funnel shape. But this is people who have heard of your product or service. They're familiar with your company or your brand name. They remember it, probably been to your website, maybe come into your store, something like that. That is sort of your more engaged audience who is familiar with you. And then finally, the bottom of funnel, this is your hot audience. Again, less people, part of that funnel shape, but this is the folks from the middle of the funnel who have stayed engaged with your brand. They're viewing products, they're viewing that content, they're reading the blogs, they're coming into your store to visit, but they haven't quite made a purchase yet. Then at that very bottom there, kind of where it pops out the bottom, is where your customers come from. So this is the basics of the funnel for the purpose of this presentation anyways. A funnel can be used in a lot of different senses. So just a quick overview for today. So this is where that fits into Facebook advertising. So when you go to your ads manager and create a new ad, you'll see there are 3 categories of ads. These fit perfectly into that top of funnel cold audience category, middle of funnel warm audience category, and bottom of funnel with that hot audience ready to buy category. So the awareness is the top of funnel. This is where the audience is starting to learn your name and know who you are, maybe know a little bit about what your business does or what you do. The middle of funnel is this consideration here. So this is where the brands are, the people are starting to engage with your brand or visiting your website, perhaps submitting a form with their contact information as a lead generation to learn more about who they are, or sending a message with questions. Then finally, conversion is your bottom of funnel. This is where your hot audience is. So this is where you're going to be having, those direct sales where you see like the store that people will make a purchase from an ad, or also even encouraging people to come into your physical brick and mortar store if that's what you have. So this is basically lines up 3 and 3. Love how clean that is. All right, but more specifically, what do each of these objectives mean? So just really quickly, because there's a lot of information out there about what each of these are and how they work. The idea is the name is the objective of the ad. So the software of Facebook advertising is working towards showing your ad to the audience you select, to people who are most likely to take one of these actions that you select. So effectively with reach, that's just reaching as many people as possible for as cheap as possible with your selected audience. So this would be a lot like a TV commercial or a radio ad or a billboard, where the whole thing is you just want to reach as many people in that area as possible for as cheap as possible. So if you were ever in old school advertising, that's really where the big CPMs are. In fact, they still measure a lot of CPMs here in Facebook ads. Basically, that's just cost per 1,000 people reached. Brand awareness, however, is similar, yet there is a certain equation that has been put in place to keep track of how the people engage with your ad, how long it sits on their screen, and if they click on it or they see it more than a few times, in correlation with the likelihood that they will remember your brand name a few days from now. So whereas reach could just be on somebody's screen while they're scrolling on by and they don't even see it or know what it is, or drive past a billboard and don't notice it, brand awareness is seeking those people who are likely to stop and look at it and read and remember what it is. Traffic is just about getting lowest cost per link click to your website. So another thing to keep in mind there, if you work on that, like link clicks versus landing page views. So link clicks, a lot of those can be mistakes. Sometimes you're scrolling, you accidentally click on a link. You don't mean to, the website doesn't load, the person leaves. Landing page views are also just an estimation from Facebook. So just something to keep in mind. I won't dig too heavy into the data here. That's probably a whole nother presentation. But basically the idea there is just to have people come to the website. It's not necessarily a direct sales piece. They're just gonna go read a blog or see what you sell. The next one is engagement, pretty straightforward. Having somebody like or comment or share the post. Another thing to remember is that a video view, a 3-second video view, is also considered an engagement. So if you're really trying to get more of those comments and likes versus just somebody watching 3 seconds of your videos, consider putting the video in the video view ads objective. App install is pretty straightforward. Lead generation is where the user will hit the ad, like click on the button, and it'll auto load some information in there and send it to your CRM system. Messages, pretty straightforward, getting them to send you a message. And then finally, for that hot audience there, those objectives, conversions are what you set up with the pixel. So it's a little bit of code, kind of like Google Analytics that you put on your website to optimize towards people who are going to click specific buttons or go to specific pages, such as everyone who went to the checkout page or who added items to their cart or downloaded a white paper that gave you their contact information to reach out to them. Catalog sales, very similar. If you go to Instagram stores, you see the catalog of images that you can scroll through to purchase on ads I'm sure you've seen that. I see it on Facebook all the time. That's what that is, the objectives that people will make that purchase. And then finally, store traffic is actually getting people to come into your physical brick and mortar store. Through data, they can track that, keeping the anonymity, which is pretty cool, but still being able to tell you if your ad led to people making purchases in your store. So that's pretty cool. So we'll take a quick pause here and take a deep breath, because I know that was a lot of information. And if you're new to this, this can feel totally overwhelming, and that's okay. It's kind of a new language, so don't worry about it too much. There's plenty of information about what the specifics are here. At this point, you should basically be understanding that you're moving from a cold audience to a warm audience to a hot audience where they're going to make the purchase. And based on those concepts, this is how those objectives line up. So don't be too hard on yourself if this feels really overwhelming with a fountain amount of information, or if this seems really simple and easy to understand and you've been there, done that. Awesome. No worries. So deep breath, and let's move on to the next one. So what's really, really important about these strategies is that you know what your numbers are. Unfortunately, there seems to be a common misconception that Facebook ads are kind of like a slot machine, that you put, $5 in and you get $50 out, or you boost a post and you're going to have a bunch of people buy stuff off of it. But sometimes it doesn't work, or only some people seem to get lucky like a slot machine. Unfortunately, it's not as simple as that. Facebook ads are a very, very powerful tool, but they're not magic. You do need to have a basic idea of your business and an understanding of how it works. And as a marketing tool, it's absolutely fantastic, but it's not going to do this legwork for you. So that's why knowing your numbers is a really big step to take before really launching into a huge Facebook advertising strategy. So when you have a product, you really want to know what your product margins are if you're selling a physical product. So that basically means, what is the profit? So if you sell a t-shirt for $15, how much did it cost you to make? Was it $5? Was it $10? Really understanding the basics of, okay, so a $15 t-shirt, after cost, after shipping, after, production time costs, and packing and shipping and labeling, especially if you're paying somebody to do that for you, costs you $7, so you end up profiting $8 per product. Those numbers are really important to know to successfully scale your marketing, because if it's $8 of profit for sale for a t-shirt and it costs you $4 in Facebook ads to sell each shirt, you're still profiting $4. But, it could be better. That's kind of some of the information that can take you from having a really successful marketing campaign where you're profitable to having kind of no idea what's going on. If you are in the service industry, you want to consider what the lifetime value of a new customer is. So this goes right hand in hand with the customer acquisition costs. So while it might sound really, really expensive to pay $20 per lead for a phone call that may not even be taken, let's say you know that out of every 100 contacts that you get, you're able to book 30 calls. And of those 30 calls, you're able to connect with 10 people. And of those 10 people, you're able to connect with 5 new clients. And each of those 5 clients ends up being worth $5,000 because they work with you for 5 years or something like that on average. So basically what that means, 5 times 5 is 25,000. So every 100 contacts you get is $25,000 worth of income to your business, if you have your sales processes in place for that to know what that is. So effectively, let's say of that $25,000, you profit, $15,000, then you know that every 100 contacts is worth $15,000 of profit to your business. So then paying $20 per lead isn't so bad after all. Let me pull out my calculator here. 15,000 divided by 100. Each one of those contracts is worth $150 to you to still maintain profitability, well, to break even. So that's just something really, really good to know that helps you make better decisions through your strategy. Now, for those of you that may not be quite at that level with your business or with your marketing, the other cool piece to Facebook ads is that you can use them as a part of your strategy to help you learn what these numbers are as you grow. It can take a couple of years to really understand these numbers, especially if your sales cycle is 6 to 12 months to close a new client, which a lot of service-based industries can be. So what this looks like is having Facebook ads as a part of your sales strategy versus being a part of the puzzle. So if your whole idea is the Facebook ads are going to do all the selling for you, it's really important you know those numbers. However, if it's just a little part of your marketing strategy, it will help you learn the data behind who's responding to your posts, what kind of cost per clicks can you get, where are your purchases coming from. This also is very similar to direct sales versus just touches. So this would be if you were counting on Facebook ads to directly sell your products for you versus just getting the name out there along with several other marketing strategies that you have to just kind of learn about your audience, get your feet under you, and really start to grow that business to learn then what these numbers are. So if you're in that level too, that's totally okay. Just make sure that you're very clear here with the intention of why you're wanting to do your Facebook ad strategy and where you're at with your business. So we can continue. And all of these things are very, very common sales jargon. So if this kind of sounds foreign to you, yes, it is jargon. It is a bit of another language, but you're able to look up any of these terms. There's tons of good content out there explaining this a lot better, especially with how to figure out these numbers. Okay, so let's go ahead and then dive right into how can you take all this information and put it into a practical application for something that you can do, that you can take away and develop a Facebook advertising strategy for your business. So that first part in the top of the funnel is where your audience is getting to know you. That's that brand awareness, that's that reach. This is where you do really good content marketing. This is where you're giving value and having fun. If your brand name is lots of fun videos or asking a lot of questions, sharing good information that's going to be relevant to your audience, that's going to resonate with them, like memes or asking questions. That is a really big part of having a good content marketing strategy. The next piece is your middle of funnel. And this is where people are deciding if they like you. So the kind of content that you're going to want to put here for your ads is sharing your branding and sharing your story. So this could be, let's say the first one is just some good content marketing about, let's say you sell clothing. For this picture example, you sell a really nice line of professional clothing for professional women. And so you can give outfit tips in the top part. Piecing together pairs, how to match similar colors, good shirts for different times of the year, etc., accessories. Then in the middle of the funnel, you start to share that story of, this is why we make these clothes. This is how we got started. We realized there weren't a lot of options for good professional clothing for women in tropical areas. I don't know if you've ever worn a business suit like in the South, but oh my gosh, it's hot and humid in the summer there. You definitely want good options. And of course, I'm just making this example up from the top of my head. You should be thinking about your brand and your products and how you can apply this there. So this is where they're deciding if they like you, if they like your brand, if they're a woman that is working in a professional office, they're not happy with the options that they have for clothing, and they are looking for something cooler and casual and more comfortable. This is going to help them decide if, yeah, that resonates with me. This is what I want. This is where you start sharing those products and services that you offer. So those engagement ads that talk about about your products, those the traffic campaigns that will have people go to read some of your blogs. And then finally, that last one is the bottom of funnel, where they develop trust for your brand. So, you know, I'm sure you've all been familiar with the Wish ads and the Wish memes from Facebook, that company where you see the really cool pictures and you have the expectation of this really gorgeous clothing piece or something. And it's really cheap, which seems awesome, but then as soon as you get it, it's not even close to what you wanted to buy. And that kind of thing really damages trust. So this is where your content will show how this specific solution for them, the product or service you offer, is really going to fit the needs of your audience and why they want to buy from you. So back to our clothing example, let's say your ads are showing these very specific clothing products and how they're really good quality and they have a really, really good fit. They're a great solution to the modern working woman who's on the go, maybe in a tropical area where it's warm and you need cooler clothing options. And they'll want to buy from you because you have, you know, a money back guarantee and they're handmade here in America or something like that. Having that really big value offer as to why they can trust you and trust that this product is going to be good. So that's how you start to develop your content around your ads. So for example, the brand awareness ads here under this top of funnel awareness piece could be just letting people know, hey, we're this new clothing brand in town. Check it out. We have really cool, beautiful options. Or, you know, here's some fashion tips for how to dress in a really hot environment. You know, in Atlanta in the South, when you're working as a professional and walking around in that hot humidity, what can you wear to still look good without feeling like you're going to fall over? Then from there, you would head to the people. So the people who saw that ad would next see some engagement ads. So this could be some blog posts or some videos or some content about these different clothing pieces, you know, match our beautiful casual jeans with this nice top, or here's the slacks with the blazer, or what would you pair with these shoes? You know, do you prefer these yellow shoes or these blue shoes? Just kind of that interesting content that's starting to feature your product and your brand voice. So people, they get to know you, they get to like you. Like, yeah, that really resonates with me. Then you go on to this traffic one, and that's where you'll actually drive people to the product pages. So they can say, yeah, I really like these yellow shoes. I want to go look and learn more about them. Or, oh, this blog, you know, this blog sounds really interesting. I want to go read the rest of this blog about how to put my outfit together for summer, still using some of my winter pieces. And finally, from there, you can then have conversion ads, which are targeted towards having people specifically add to cart and make those purchases. This also would work for catalog sales, to be honest. And then if you have a brick and mortar store, focusing on having people coming into your store to try on those clothes and make those purchases. So that is, in a nutshell, how you turn your strategy, your sales process, into a Facebook advertising strategy with that funnel. So lots of information. I know it's very interesting, but it can be a lot at once and a lot to digest. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Just realize there's a typo there. It's Pancake Digital Solutions for the email. Yes, it's a long one. But if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to send me an email or reach out to us on our Facebook page. We are here and happy to share some information with you, as well as, stopping the share there, as well as help you run through some strategies or understanding some data. Of course, we've got tons of content to help you out as you go through this process. It's a really, really fun process if you let it be. And Facebook ads can be really, really powerful. Just remember to follow these pieces, know your numbers, and learn a lot from the data. So thanks so much. Have a great rest of your day.